Not so long ago, I found myself thinking about how I missed the 5Ds era of Yu Gi Oh!, where, more times than not, just setting a face down defense position Raikou Lightsworn Hunter was combo enough. A time where the biggest concern to me was making sure that my opponent didn't have that fourth Lightsworn name in their graveyard to be able to summon Judgment Dragon, where a card like Dark Arm Dragon lived on the limited list for a long time due to being one of the most powerful cards in the game. The days of needing to meet the correct levels along with a tuner and a non-tuner to access synchro summoning. Days where tribute summoning didn't feel like a -1, and days where Jeff Jones pioneered one of the funnest strategies of all time, Quick Draw Dandy Warrior. The time where Blackwing wasn't just a meme deck. That's why I created this channel. Welcome to the Edison Club. Alright, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Edison Club. Today, we have a little throwback video. If you're new here, you'll know that I got my start in YouTube by basing my channel off of the Dark Magician archetype and calling my channel Dark Magical Gaming. This propelled me through a long time of the channel's history, being sort of, I always compare it to like an actor being typecast. Being typecast as an actor would be someone like Tobey Maguire is basically typecast as Spider-Man. When you look at him, you think of Spider-Man. It's pretty much impossible not to. So that's kind of how I was. When people would look at me, they're like, oh, it's the Dark Magician guy. It didn't matter if I was playing Heroes, didn't matter if I was playing Branded Despia, didn't matter. Dark Magician guy. So eventually, I wanted to break away from that, and I wasn't really into modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. Which is how the Edison Club was born. So that's a little background story if you're new here. But recently, I have seen so many comment forums on Facebook, comment sections, about this huge debate of Red Eyes Fusion being the best card and Dark Magician, people saying that's not a Dark Magician card, this is a Dark Magician card, and just having some very bad theory when it comes to this deck. So we're going to take a look at a few cards from Dark Magician today, and we're going to compare it to some other decks. So one big card, people always say, oh, Magician Souls, this is the best card in Dark Magician. Well, no, not exactly. While Magician Souls does get rid of your Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl with the opportunity to either summon itself or summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your graveyard, the effect to send spells and traps from hand or field just isn't great in this deck. This card is better in Crystal Beast than it is in its own deck, okay? This is only ever summoning Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl on turn 1. What does that do in the modern game? When cards came out like this card, Illusion of Chaos, that you'll see here on the right, this card was better in every other deck. It did not shine within its own deck like it was supposed to, okay? Dark Magician does not have the tools that it needs to be a playable deck. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your accomplishments are in this game. It does not matter how good you are. This deck is not currently capable of keeping up in the game since losing Verte Anaconda. The only card that makes this deck even somewhat playable is Red Eyes Fusion. There's an argument to playing Branded Fusion in the deck. I don't think that's terrible, but that's also adding more bricks to a deck that already struggles with bricks anyway. Looking over at a deck like Branded Despia that I have some of the cards pulled up from here, basically just does everything that a good fusion deck should. Has multiple ways to fusion, Despia Theater to the Branded, Ad Libitum being able to grab back stuff from your banished or your graveyard, Branded Banishment being probably one of the best trap cards been printed in a long time, and of course somewhere on here we'll have the Branded Fusion. Dark Magician does not even have its own fusion spell. And before you say it, do not point out the smoldering that is Secrets of Dark Magic, because This card is Polymerization. This card is not a real fusion spell by 2022 standards. This is not a real fusion spell. Okay, I'm going to get a bunch of people in the comment section saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. We have Secrets of Dark Magic. We have Timaeus, the United Dragon. Those cards suck. Okay, if I'm having to go neg 3, neg 4 into Dragoon, that Dragoon is either going to get super polyed away or just sent by some card effect anyway. Tier elements, they don't even need a fusion spell to fusion summon. This is how power crept out of the game Dark Magician is, and I still see people commenting and arguing about Red Eyes Fusion. And if it's the best card in Dark Magician, this is the only card in the Dark Magician deck that says Fusion Summon. How do you win with Dark Magician? This card. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, okay? Do you know what Dragoon does? It takes Dark Magician plus a Red Eyes Black Dragon or a Dragon Effect monster. This card cannot be targeted. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. It lets you destroy monsters your opponent controls, non-targeting, inflict damage to them, and you can use it up to twice if you summon this with Red Eyes Fusion. And it negates and gains attacks. This is actually an anime card. This is literally a card that someone made off of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cardmaker.com. Okay? That is how insane this card is. And people are still out here trying to argue with people like Loza that this card is not the best card in the deck. There are no better cards in the deck than Red Eyes Fusion. Okay? Sure, it's not searchable. Okay? But that's because the searchable card that we have, Secrets of Dark Magic, is terrible. It's so bad, and you have to play it. Like, you're never trying to go neg 2 on a fusion spell. Ever. Not in 2022. I don't know that if Dark Magician existed in Edison format, if it would even be able to hold up. If it did, this would be the only reason why. Because all the other cards in the deck's archetype stink. Konami really failed Dark Magician players by giving them such lackluster support. Guys, we don't have a single good card for us, okay? Souls and IOC are good, but like I mentioned earlier, they are better in decks that aren't Dark Magician. This deck started out as a control deck. I think what Konami's original idea was that Dark Magician was going to be a control deck and Blue Eyes was going to be a combo deck. That's why they gave us cards like Magician Navigation. That's why they gave us cards like Eternal Soul, Dark Magical Circle, because the deck was inherently supposed to play more with Dark Magician rather than using the extra deck and things of that nature. But obviously, that's not how it worked out. Dark Magical Circle can't even take Dark Magician monsters. It can't take Rod. It can't take Souls. It doesn't take the best cards. This card's terrible. Like, people compare this card to being Pot of Duality. Pot of Duality will always get you one card. Even if Pot of Duality makes you take Pot of Duality, okay? It will always give you a card. This card is not guaranteed to give you anything. You know how many times I played this card and missed on Circle. People will say, oh, well, you're not maxing out on your targets. Yeah, because I'm really going to fill my deck up with stuff like Thousand Knives and Dark Magic Attack just so I can forcefully make Dark Magical Circle always net a card. That is not how decks are built in 2022. That is not how we should have to play. I gave up on the deck after losing Verte Anaconda because it was the only crutch making the deck playable. Like I stated in the earlier part of this video, I don't care who you are. There have been a lot of people commenting on my videos back when this channel was Dark Magical Gaming. Joe Jacobs, Julifer, a lot of those guys commenting on my videos, talking about how I didn't know how to play the deck. Still have yet to see any of them become YCS champions playing Dark Magician. So I will... If one of those guys tops or wins a YCS with Dark Magician in its current state, I will eat my ultimate rare Stardust Dragon. I will literally eat it, okay? I'm pretty sure I can get Loza on board as well, and we can probably eat it together. Like, we can each take half of it, and we'll each eat half of an ultimate rare Stardust Dragon. If one of these people can win or top a YCS with Dark Magician in its current state, because it's just simply not going to happen. I don't know that you could win a locals with this deck. So Let's stop pretending that Red Eyes Fusion isn't the best card in the deck, because it's the only card in the deck that does anything. And yeah, guys, so Lozo is 100% correct. If you think that Dark Magician's fusion summoning mechanic is better than Tier Elements, or better, even better than Branded Despia, then you're just very incorrect. Didn't really want to make any more videos about modern Yu-Gi-Oh, but this has been something that's been eating at me for a few days now. So, yeah, this is Mike from the Edison Club signing out. Probably won't be back with much modern format stuff until this video needs to be remade again. Seems like we go around in circles. We go through this about once a year. People just not understanding how the deck is supposed to be played. So when I'm needed again, I will be back again. All right, this is Mike from the Edison Club signing out until the next one.